The latest Israeli-Palestinian battle is now over with the usual results. They shot rockets at Israel. We shot them down. We destroyed their infrastructure. We destroyed their tunnels. We've made them pay a bitter price. There's no question we won the battles. But it concerns me we may have lost the war for public opinion. Something has changed out there. We're used to seeing pro Palestinian protesters on the streets of London and Paris and Brussels. But now they're out on the streets of Boston and Philadelphia and Chicago and LA and New York. Now Jews are being attacked on the streets of New York. Now a candidate for mayor of New York had to retract his pro-Israel statement because of pressure. This in New York. Something's gone wrong. Perhaps a hint can be found in the Torah portion of this week, which contains one of the strangest incidents in all the Torah. The Jews complain about the food. Now, that's not strange. It's strange that they were complaining about the fish and the meat and the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic, which they said they got in Egypt for free. Really? That never happened. What made them say this? What made the Jews think this? The Torah introduces this incident with the following words. The rabble rousers in their midst felt a gluttonous craving, and then the Israelites wept and said, if only we had meat to eat. The problem started with the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, the former Egyptians who joined up with the Jews and left Egypt with them. They started complaining. And the next thing you know, the children of Israel also wept along with them. It starts small with some loudmouth protesters, some anti-Semites, some Jew haters. And then the message gets mixed in with the rest of the people. We always had a Farrakhan with his ugly anti-Semitism. But now it has grown into the Black Lives Movement, throwing their weight behind the Palestinians. There was always a Roger Waters from Pink Floyd, viciously anti-Israel. But it was a lone voice and we dismissed it. Now it's John Oliver and Trevor Noah and many others have turned against us. It used to be Uncle Bernie and Elizabeth Warren we had to worry about. We treated them like they were a lone voice that nobody was listening to. But now a friend like Senator Menendez and Representative Nadler had some criticism of Israel's policy. It used to be AOC and her squad. Now they've turned into a mob. In 2003, when Howard Dean was running for the presidential nomination, he said that the US should not take sides in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. People dismissed him as a nut. Well, now that nut is surrounded by fruitcakes from the left, the media, and even amongst our own Jews. A few years ago, Jewish writer Michael Shaban delivered an anti-Israel speech to the graduates of the Reform Hebrew Union College. There were some protests, and they were told he's just one guy and he's entitled to his opinion. Well, during the battle with Hamas, when rockets were landing throughout southern Israel and directed at Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, 100 students from the rabbinical colleges of the conservative and reform movement signed a petition condemning Israel and supporting the Arabs. We did little back then to fight because we said it's only a handful. But while we weren't paying attention, the handful turned into a multitude. When model Bella Hadid spoke out against Israel, we dismissed it as a lone voice in the wilderness. We didn't realize she has 50 million followers on Instagram. A few have mixed with the many, and their voices are growing stronger. It's upsetting. It's depressing. Even Moshe couldn't handle the complaints. So God told him to gather 70 leaders who were closer with the people, who would speak to them and tell them the truth. Are we going to be smart enough to do the same? Starts with a few, but can grow to many. We have the few. We have the 8-packs and the cameras and the honest reporting and the flame. But are they reaching the masses? We had a pro-Israel rally in Baltimore. How many people showed up? 300 out of 100,000 Jews. I sent the notice from AIPAC urging people to write to their congressmen and senators. Tell the truth. How many of you did it? We have to make sure that our few grows into the many. And for that to happen, it depends on each and every one of us. Shabbat Shalom.